Okay. All right. So glad to see that people are chatting here because it's going to be really handy in a second because I am going to hit present mode on the slides and I would love if someone could chat if they can see my slides. Okay. If this kicks in, here we go. I should kick it in now. All right. If someone could give me a quick little chat note that they can see the slides. Angel, I imagine you're saying yes too. Yes, you can see the slides. Okay, you can see. Awesome. Okay, now I can relax and just slide away and we're going to get into this. So great. I'm glad you all see the sorry, I was going to do one more thing here. I'm going to move this little chat box up here. Okay, I'm glad you all can see the slides. This helps me keep on track. And I'm going to leave some time at the end to answer any questions. In the meantime, just relax and hold my hand as I take you on this journey that is how to get fully booked with an weekly email. And most importantly, how to stay blissful. Really taking in that concept because it's just going to bring up some stuff. And I'm going to make sure y'all can see me okay too. Checked my camera yet. I'm going to trust you can see me okay. But most importantly, the slides and getting fully booked while also only working part-time hours. And I love talking about this because it sounds like a little bit of a clickbait sort of comment, but it is true. Something I've been doing ever since I started this business over a decade ago. Okay, a little frog in my throat. Okay, so getting fully booked with weekly emails. What you're going to learn in this 1-hour training is how this works. How by sending an email once a week to those who have opted in to hear from you is going to make your yes mamas out there swooning and reaching out to you to work with you one-on-one. And how we do this is by swooning one client at a time. So this is what we're going to cover today is how this works, how the email fits in with all the other pieces of this client getting puzzle. And I'm all about simplicity and organic everything in my life. So I'm going to show you exactly in that plan that I call the 4x1, how email fits in with it, but also feeds upon the other 3 parts of the 4x1 plan, and how all of this is inspired by your human design, something I have this ocean I dived into in the last 6 months, and my mind's getting blown. Once a week in my training, I'm going through a certification process right now, and I'll get into what inspired me to do this and how it's really intended to help my clients get the results they're seeking, which is getting consistent clients in their mom coaching biz. We're also going to cover what to write each week. I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas and how to make your email stand out from the other ones out there. And finally, we're going to figure out how this getting yes works. What is the magic there? And how to get more qualified leads into your subscription list. So chances that you're talking to someone who's open to receiving your gift as a mom coach is increased. And this is me, in case we haven't met yet. I am Kathy Stoll. I am a mom coach mentor. This is my niche statement. This is what I help my clients craft from the get-go. This is what I write down every day. This is what I think about when I'm not thinking about my adorable kiddos or my adorable wiener dogs. It's, okay, I help mom coaches who are struggling with getting clients make money in their coaching biz. It's what I meditate on every day. It's what I'm always asking myself. And I get my clients too thinking about their ideal clients in this almost obsessive way. So how I help my clients get from that point A of being like, I don't know what to do to get clients, what to do every day when I come into my office. So again, we begin by helping you choose a niche. And then we get you to fill out your own niche statement. So I can do, and I have done whole trainings on just the niche statement alone. But in a nutshell, it's getting clear on who you help, even if it's moms to begin with, and what struggle are you going to devote at least the next 3 months to? And then finally, what is your client's deepest heart's desire? What is the result that they are really seeking, so that you could really become the go-to expert that is delivering these results to client after client after client, and at least trying on this statement for 3 months before you move on to the next or make those little tweaks. And then what we do is we create an offer that is the perfect fit for someone struggling with that particular obstacle in their life, speaking to a particular audience, and is designed to get them to that result. So basically, you created an offer that is, wow, this would be a no-brainer. Call it my zombie offer, right? Because it's like there's no brains in there. They've been eaten up because your offer is just irresistible. And then finally, we get those pieces into place, and then we start getting you out there with a simple marketing strategy I call the 4x1. And this is designed to be sustainable because, again, I meditate and think all day long about my ideal client. I am my ideal client, and I know what works for busy moms. Keep it simple and also sustainable. So I know that human design is a great check-in of how do I naturally operate here? And it's almost like reuniting with your genuine self. And I thought about this today, I think inspired by writing out, making these slides. It's like, yeah, it is like you're getting reintroduced to how you naturally show up in the world. Because that, we'll get into this a bit more. But when I think about these things, songs come into my head. I have a client named Diana. I always get Diana's song stuck in my head, anticipating her calls. Reunited and It Feels So Good was playing throughout my head all morning, because that's really at the core of exploring your human design, is getting reunited with your genuine self, how you best show up in life and in your business. And again, I'm also consciously strategizing to help my clients execute this marketing strategy in less than 10 hours a week, because that is what fully booked means, right? What is fully booked anyway? Here I am, get fully booked, get fully booked. What does that mean? So just as a baseline, I'm going to say, let's say 10 clients at any given time. We're going to work, again, one new client at a time until you get to 10 clients. Of course, this is so subjective. Fully booked can look different. Maybe you don't have the bandwidth right now. You have maybe, I don't know, smaller kids, who knows? Maybe you're like, I can't manage more than 3 clients a week at this point. Start where you're at, but take inventory of how many hours you have available for pure focus work on your business. So the math I used to come up to 10 clients for me was that I know that I work 20 hours a week. Quick side story. My husband, he's an engineer, and I've been doing this since our kids were teeny tiny, and they are not so tiny anymore. My daughter's 17, my son's 13. But forever, he was always like, how many hours a week do you work anyway? Do you even know? And the reason he asked is because he does contract work. So it's very important for him to really sign off on his hours and be very specific what he's doing during his work hours. And he's always like, how many hours a week do you work? And I always said 20 hours a week, 20 hours a week. He's like, how do you know? And I'm like, I just know. Mostly I had a hunch, because just like the tagline in my podcasts, all between the hours, between the hours of drop off and pickup. So I work from 9 to, I was going to see someone's on, can someone mute themselves, please? Here, I'm going to have to, all right. I'm just going to quickly make sure everyone is muted. I think I had the power. I have the power to do this. All right. Mute all. Everyone's mute all. Okay. Yes, please. Okay. No problemo. So what I was saying is, to appease him, finally, I said, okay, I used Toggl, recorded my hours, and sure enough, without fail, 20 hours a week. And it feels good. It feels doable, even when my kids were wee. But again, go with what works for you. Get it down on paper. I can work this pocket of time, this pocket of time, this pocket of time. How many hours a week you have to work? Let's say 20 hours is what I came up with, working from 9 to 2 for the most part. Cut that in half, because I also have this concept that your marketing, your business, more or less, is going to take half the amount of hours you have available to work. This is, again, just a rough estimation, but for me, this is a nice round number to give you an idea. With the 4x1, you can absolutely get fully booked with 10 clients at any given time, plus also have time for you to do what also feeds your business, which is taking good care of yourself, making sure you're taking breaks for movement to get inspired for what's really important outside of your business in your life, and also having that airspace, that headspace to just be spontaneous. And this is something too that was drawn to my attention by diving deep into my own human design chart. Was like, whoa, I misconstrued what consistency means to me. It's actually important for me to go with the flow more. So my mind's just getting exploded, and I'm seeing that living more in alignment with that and getting inspired with what is the definition of fully booked? What is the definition for consistency in my business? And but beginning first with getting clear on, this is my goal, to get fully booked with one-on-one clients. And then you can make it a little game for yourself, light candles, do a little like a thermometer thing on your wall, and then you can color in when you get your clients, whatever works for you. But this is what we're striving for, and how a part of it is writing a weekly love letter to your clients. So what makes up the 4x1 plan is where we began this with introducing myself with my niche statement. Is you home in on yours and you own it for 3 months, and then you create an offer. And here I put plural, offers, by, again, inspired by my human design. If you feel inspired, you can have like a couple, you can have more than one. But what I also mean by offers plurals is even your freebies, free trainings like this, everything I do honors my niche statement. It is all from my intention to help you get clients. A mom who's struggling right now with getting clients into her mom coaching biz, this is going to help you get clients. This is my offer to you. Another part of the 4x1 marketing plan is some sort of free weekly content. So this could look like a blog, a weekly blog, podcast episode, YouTube channel. If you're just beginning and you don't have, again, the bandwidth to do all that techie stuff, do a live on your social media platform of choice, which is the third part of the 4x1 plan. How convenient. Is decide Facebook or Instagram. For sure, LinkedIn's an option, or Twitter. Working with moms, they are either on Facebook or Instagram for the most part. Whichever one you choose one, so you could really get comfortable showing up there in an authentic way and get out there and meet people, grow your network. And we're going to get into grow your email list, most importantly, because then the power is in you to send out that weekly email straight from your heart to theirs, and an invitation to work with you one-on-one. So the way this gets you fully booked is because that weekly email, it leans on consistency. Again, consistency, especially since my mind got blown on the definition, consistency can look very feminine energy or very masculine energy, depending on you, but it has to be some sort of consistency. And there's many different ways we can approach this, but it demonstrates to your audience that you are too legit to quit and that you are devoted to showing up on a regular on a regular time, on a regular basis. That's the word I was looking for. And, people need that nudge. So we need to be consistently nudging people, offering them value, reminding them, just like how coaching is basically reminding our clients that they have the wisdom within. We are also coaching them and reminding them that they have us to support them if they so feel called to reach out for that. And it also leans on the 4x1 on potency. It's like you have a garden hose. I have my little garden patch back here. We have a long hose and we got a spray nozzle that you could adjust the nozzle so it could be like a fine mist, or you could perform like laser eye surgery. The strength and like the potency of the spray, it gets very tiny. So we want to get that tiny laser. So again, our effort, when we find that time devoted to work on our business, it is more focused and potent, because we're talking to only one client with one overarching struggle, getting them to one result. So that's why the 4x1 works. And then it is by nature designed with getting our clients results. Because again, this is what we're selling. It's riffing off of the niche statement you're devoted to, and everything is super intentional on getting our clients to that point B. And finally, it's sustainable. It's really easy if you have just with the 4x1, 4 areas to look at, and even the niche statement within itself is just 3 different options to choose from. You can go in and adjust the volume, pivot, little mini pivots, but not grand pivots, just constantly checking in and then putting on almost like your logical hat on to see, as a scientist, how did this experiment go? So it's much easier, because then you have a little bit more controlled conditions to see what's working and what's not. Okay, so again, the email is just one part of the 4x1 plan. And often people, and I know I offer in my community here it's called Community Futures. It's for new entrepreneurs. And they always have me come in and offering these types of workshops. And actually next week, I'm doing one on email newsletter, but it's for different industries. And in a lot of industry, they're very resistant to sending out a weekly email. I feel that if you are a mom coach, you're a little bit more comfortable with the concept, because a lot of coaches do this and it's because it works. But still, there's going to be some worries and concerns. So I want to address these before we move further. Number one, fear might be like, I don't want to be annoying people. I don't want to annoy my subscribers by sending out a weekly email. First of all, I send out twice a week emails. So maybe that will help you feel better about that concern. But those who are annoyed, they're not your true subscribers. It's like I can hear my mom's voice in my head. I can't think of the exact context, but more or less, it's one of those, well, they weren't your true friends anyway. I'm not saying your subscribers are supposed to be your besties or anything, but if they're feeling annoyed by what you're sending out, let them feel what they want. Maybe and being annoyed isn't such a bad thing. Maybe it's almost like they need that annoyance. It's like this, they need to address whatever trigger, perhaps what you are emailing out to them might be doing to them. But let's just say annoyed to the point where they just want to unsubscribe. Fine, good riddance, not good riddance. Just trust that they may come back. I often unsubscribe from emails, and then next thing you know, I'm back on their list, because It's almost like fate. It's like, I feel that when you are seeking out a coach or considering working for someone, it's like falling in love. It's all about timing. So just trust the timing is off for them. Your message isn't resonating with them at this point. If you guys were meant to be working together in the future, your paths will cross again. Otherwise, they're just not your person. So just trust that if you're annoying your subscribers, maybe that's not such a bad thing. And chances are it's just the timing's off. Another concern, oh my God, a weekly email, that sounds like a lot of work and I'm too busy. It's worth the time. It doesn't actually need to take too much time. So again, when I was appeasing my husband with tracking my hours, and I noticed, I'm like, whoa, it takes me like an hour to write a newsletter. This is like a few years ago. So at least consciously, I was aware. I'm like, it really shouldn't take that much time. So being aware of how much time it takes and just decide it doesn't need to take that long. If you're sending out a weekly email, you can always send out another email next week and you could make it shorter. So just play with how you write emails and you'll come to find that it really doesn't take that much time. And not only that, I know a client just recently said this out loud. It's actually fun. It's the sense of satisfaction when you hit send, because that is when you are proactively really sending out an invite for people to work with you in your offer. So you hit send, and then that is almost like you set up all these little domino stacks. When you push one domino, you go out, get your kids from basketball practice or whatever. And surprise, you'll see there are discovery calls or whatever call to action you put in your email. So it's actually well worth the time and it shouldn't take you that long. Another worry, it's like, oh, weekly email. What am I supposed to say in these? Well, I'm going to give you some ideas right now of what to write in your weekly email. So first of all, remember these rules. When you sit down, you have that day of the week where you send out your weekly email and you're like, okay, who am I talking to? You are talking to that one lucky mama in your niche statement. You decided who she is, maybe just universal mom, or if you decided to be more specific, a homeschooling mom, a corporate mom, whoever she is, she's struggling with this. Enough that she is actively seeking out support. That is why she is currently on your email list. She opted in to hear from you, whether it be from a free training like this or a freebie. Just really talk to the ones who are like, yes, I need help. Talk to me. Another thing I want you to think about, again, going back to worrying about annoying people that they unsubscribe, just know that once you send out that email, and you come back from basketball practice pickup or whatever, and you see like 4 people unsubscribed, I want you to celebrate. I almost think about this visual. It's like, it's not a very good visual, but you have like a fishing net and you go in and you scoop up all these new clients. And some of those fishies, they don't get in there, they overflow. It's like, that's okay. Love up the ones who are still in the net. And the ones who are left are saying yes. So just celebrate that your list is getting more and more qualified. Okay, so now here's some ideas. So you can run with any of these. First of all, riffing off of the rest of your 4x1 plan, the weekly content, you can simply be like, hey guys, this week on the blog or the latest episode on the podcast. Okay, this GIF is kind of giving me a headache. My apologies. So you can just simply say what is new in your weekly content. Another idea is, and this is what I do, I shared that I actually send 2 emails a week. One of them is, hey, this is what's new in my podcast. Very simple to write. The next one I send on Tuesdays. Typically, it's purely, if you want this, I invite you to work with me. It's a pure invitation to work with me one-on-one. Let's do this. PS. This is kind of meta, but no matter what email I send, there's always a PS. click here to book a discovery call with me. All right. So even if you do what I'm doing, one weekly email sharing your weekly content, and then a second weekly email, pure invite to work with me one-on-one. Every email, PS, actually, yeah. So every email actually contains an invitation to work with you one-on-one. All right, number 3, and then I'll change this very distracting GIF. Write a love letter. It's Valentine's Day, you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. So write a love letter. If you're stumped and you want to mix things up, once in a while, just write a pure love letter straight from your heart to theirs. And here's how to do it. Okay. Whew. There we go. Tom Hanks is much more relaxing to look at. Oh, okay. All right, guys. So I literally Googled how to write a love letter. I've done this before a few years ago, and it was funny. What I found was how to write a love letter written by the Art of Manliness. I don't know if that's still a site, but I did a fresh Google search, and it gave me some good starting off points. And I'm just kind of seeing how this can be applied in terms of growing your mom coaching biz. So writing a love letter to your ideal client, it offered in this article I find to start with attention grabber. How you can do this is making sure that your subject line in your weekly email is really catchy. I was going to say, not catchy like Omicron, but attention catchy, right? It really piques your attention. So checking the time. All right, we're doing good. Okay. And then, so tips on how to do that. First of all is notice what captures your attention. So I have a folder that I keep when I get an email that sparks my interest from a newsletter I'm subscribed to. I throw it into, I call it newsletter ideas, right? And so I just put anything that piques my interest in there, whether it be the subject line or usually it's the subject line, right? Or the content itself has like really good ideas. But anyways, but keep a running list of what works for you. Another little tip from this, and this is an idea about I got from my own coach, is to do a brainstorm on clickbaity words related to your niche. So I wrote a whole bunch of these down, meaning who you serve, what would really like attract their attention. I don't know how to turn this thing off. Okay. Meaning, so an example for me, I did a whole bunch, a list, like human design is a more recent one. Mom coach, get clients, make money, fully booked, life purpose, grow your biz. So just something that is really truly what your ideal client wants, right? What you don't want to do though is, and this is my biggest pet peeve. So I just want to make sure I can serve the world by making sure this doesn't happen as much anymore. Clickbait, but not bait and switch, meaning my biggest pet peeve is subject lines like regarding, like RE colon, and it's making it look like they're responding to something that you sent them. That drives me nuts. So nothing like that. You want to stay in integrity and deliver on your promise in the subject line, but make it like kind of attention grabby. Number 2 is compliment them. You want to speak to what you see in them, their potential, their strengths in relation to their struggle. So you're writing a love letter. It's like, hey, grab their attention. And then when you speak to them, I see you. And this is related to this point number 3, pay attention to the details. So you see them. What do you see? I got to like turn this off. I want to keep an eye on the time, but sorry, guys. I'm going to take off this. Remove app for now. Delete. Okay. Turn that boxer off for now. Okay. So what I wrote here is think of the little vignettes that make up her day. An example here I shared a few times on free trainings is like one of those after school specials you may have watched as a kid growing up. After school, there is a 1 hour TV show outlining a common struggles that kids go through. So it's like delivering this, reach out for help if you're experiencing this too. And what I think about is imagining my ideal client, how her day, because in this TV show, they always show the kid waking up, whatever the theme of the special is about. Often it's parents divorcing or drug use. They can hear their parents arguing. They're sitting there eating breakfast. They're arguing, in the kitchen. The kid goes to school. He's crying on the school bus. So it doesn't have to be that much of a bummer, but what is that main struggle and how does it affect every aspect of her day? So you could touch upon that. Another way to connect with your subscriber is share a detail from your day. So one exercise I help my clients or offer them is right before you sit down to write that email is say in your head, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened to me this week, right? And then just saying that, it's like anticipation of meeting a friend for coffee or going for a walk together. It's like, I know when I'm driving to meet a friend to go for a ski, I'm like, oh my God, I got to make sure I tell her that this happened, or my kid said this, or da 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 da, this celebration. So share a little bit about your experience, but then quickly do this ninja maneuver of how it relates to your niche statement and how it relates to how you work with your clients, how you make their life easier. So this is kind of like a yoga move, right? You kind of has a bit of a stretch sometime, but it really offers a beautiful place of connection and you're being able to relate to you. Actually, in this article, it really said drop in a cheesy line. So I interpreted that to help you today is allow some of your personality to come through, right? Sometimes I feel I kind of hold myself back when I'm writing my newsletter. You know me, if you don't know me, I'm really into natural birthing and I still have lots of analogies and metaphors and I talk a lot about placenta and consuming your placenta and I make jokes about it. And then sometimes right before I hit send, I'm like, oh, that might be kind of weird. I am challenging myself to keep the weird in there. Allow yourself to write like how you talk, right? I say totally a lot. So I put in totally sometimes. Grammatical errors are fun, if they really, it feels like they're talking to you in real person, right? So sometimes I'll have one of those, make period, it's like a new, adding like weird grammatical freestyle just to get point home of how you talk, right? Be clear on your intentions is a love letter tip. So making sure every email has a very clear call to action. So again, regardless, everyone is click here to book a discovery call or subscribe to my podcast, making a clear call to action in every single email coming from a place of love. And finally, talk about your future together. How amazing would it be to work together? How amazing would it be to be living in the results that you are seeking? The whole reason that you're subscribed to this newsletter. So really getting them into that daydream mode of like, oh my God, that sounds awesome. So this could be a place to put in testimonials from past clients or painting a picture of what their day is going to look, smell, hear like. So really getting to be like an all-encompassing experience. Okay. No matter what, though, unsubscribes are going to happen. So, what you need to do is to just comfort your psyche around that, knowing that you're being proactive and continuously growing your list so that you can be yourself. You can do those placenta eating jokes. You could do lots of call to actions to work with you because your right people are going to stick around. And if people unsubscribe, there's more where that came from because you're going to go out there in the world and you're going to be helpful by getting your freebie out there into the world. Yeah, an optimum of some sort, i.e., this free training is a freebie, but also I want you to have a signature freebie. Here's some ideas. So something that inspires, right? Like my signature freebie, most of you have experienced it, is called 50 Coaching Niches for Moms. And that is the one to get my ideal clients' juices flowing. It's like, pique their curiosity. Oh, there's 50 mom coaching niches. I got to check this out. And then reading them, it's like, oh, I never thought of being a, like style coach or whatever. There's 50 ideas. I'm like blanking out, but there's lots of niches ideas to start thinking. I'm like, oh, actually, that is something that I could be an authority on now that I think about it. Number 2 freebie idea is a PDF, something super simple, but really gives your ideal client a general overview of your main process. So when I work with my clients, we get really clear on the niche statement. Basically, you help moms from this point A to this point B. And then we brainstorm on what is your process of getting this ideal client to this point. And then we break it down to 3 to 5 steps. So here's an opportunity that you could offer what your process is. And that's basically what I do now in all my trainings. I already shared it with you here, how I help my clients with their niche and then their offer and then their 4x1 plan. And then even within there, there's a whole bunch of mini process. So just choosing one of those process, I got like 2 different processes for finding your niche. The 4x1 plan, I got so many processes, but then you could start stacking them on top of each other. Like what I did with my 50 coaching niches PDF in there. If you go in there, you guys, you can even check it out yourself. There's a mini training tucked into that PDF on how to come up with your own niche statement called the niche smoothie method. Number 3 is, again, looking at Vignette, that after school special of your ideal client, and going really deep on one of her sub struggles and offer a little relief for that. So that in itself could be a freebie, just giving them a little taste sampler of what it's like to work with you and eventually work with you one-on-one. So how all these pieces of the 4x1 fit together is your niche statement. You are emboldened with this, you're confident, you're the expert. So what that does is that you are talking about this like a broken record, and it's going to make your website or your Facebook group, your social media more searchable, meaning that you're going to put those keywords or those clickbaity words in everything that you do so that people, as soon as they encounter you, it's instant. Oh, okay, that is what I'm looking. I.e., in my homepage, I have like a giant picture of my head, and right beside it is helping moms start blissful mom coaching businesses or something like that. So people land there and they're like, oh, okay, this is who I'm seeking. And then instantly there's the freebie right there. Want 50 coaching niches for mom? Because we really want people. This is like the most important thing other than getting people to sign on to work with you, to get on your email list. Because otherwise they're just going to like flit away once they discover you. You want to promote that freebie because we want to love them up consistently over and over and over again, at least once a week with your email. Your weekly content, another part of the 4x1. In there, you can promote your freebie. Have every piece of content be something related or can be segued into, oh, if you like this, check out my 50 coaching niches, right? So you're always naturally inviting people back to check out your freebie. On social media, and I tell all my clients this, especially working with moms, to be networking in other people's Facebook groups, especially entrepreneurial mom Facebook groups, because they're moms too, no matter what your niche is. And they often have theme days where you can promote either your freebie or your paid offer. My tip is to promote your freebie, even if it's a paid offer day, because it's a very, very rare day when someone's just going to discover you and take you up on your paid offer. So you want to nurture them. So just go to town, always promoting your freebies as opposed to your paid offer. And what I find is that when people do opt in for a discovery call with me, and one of my questions is, how did you find out? And then they'll say something in there. They'll say, oh, through a Google search, right? And they search mom coach, they found me. opted into my freebie, but when I talk to them, then it really comes out. Oh yeah, too, I've been listening to your podcast, or I realize I've been listening to your podcast forever. Oh yeah, and I'm also a member of your Facebook group, and I signed up for your other. So it all gets interconnected. So the 4x1, it's very important that we honor each one of those 4 areas. And again, consistently love tapping. Love tap. I'm teaching my daughter to drive right now. And I always joke teaching her parallel parking. It's like, it's okay if you bump the other cars. Just think of it as a love tap. She hasn't bumped any other cars yet. Thank God. We had a close call, but just a gentle love tap. Like, hey, I'm here. Hey, I see you. Hey, I can get you to this point B. Hold my hand. Okay. So this is the hardest part though, really, is deciding. It's like, well, which weekly content medium is the best fit for me? How do I decide these things? What is my life purpose? So this is why I decided to get certified as a human design expert. And I've learned a bunch of things on my own, but also, again, I am still in the midst of my certification. We're just wrapping up, but in the last 6 months, I just been getting my mind blown by implementing everything I've learned. So here's my chart. I just want to quickly share with you some ahas, because what I've learned has really informed my own 4x1, and it has been refining it, sharpening my tools, and learning, again, reunited. And it feels so good with who I am within, that got distracted by following gurus, my coaches, like, which I always have a coach and I am coachable. So I show up and I'm like, I'll do whatever you tell me. But I was like, oh, I forgot to listen to my own inner knowing, which is funny because that is the whole premise of my coaching approach. I call it Mama Bliss coaching. It's removing just distractions, keeping it simple so you can always tap into your own inner knowing. And going deep with my human design, I'm like, oh, that's another tool for me to get reconnected with my own intuition, inner knowing, and finding sustainability in how I show up as my authentic self, because that's what's really going to attract your ideal clients to you. So an example of what I picked up from my own human design, that as a generator, I have a tendency to be uber people pleaser. Having this awareness, it's like, whoa, I did it again. Like even just this week, I did it again. And I was like, stop it, stop it. So I need to be careful because that is not going to serve anyone, especially me, but domino effect is not going to serve anyone around me. You'll see here, my throat centers define. So I'm like, that is great affirmation that a podcast is perfect for me, especially because of my Define Ajna here. It's like, I have strong opinions, you guys. I forgot I had strong opinions. So this gave me permission to be more vocal about them and not worry about being a little controversial. Not that I'm like being super controversial, but really owning, no, I think this is what works and this is what turns me off and this is what turns me on. And speaking of turning me on, it's very important. Well, first of all, my undefined solar plexus right here, this is what gives me the superpower of seeing what's truly holding my clients back. And my defined spleen here, I'm slightly psychic, very intuitive, but I help my clients overcome their own fears. And here's what I was going to talk about turning me on. It's like making decisions for me, it's sacral authority. So that means I have permission to go with the ideas that really light me up. So with that, oh, and I also discovered I have this channel, which is the Genius Freak channel. I just found this out last week and I'm like, oh, that explains so much. But basically, I get a lot of good ideas and it's almost freaky, my genius letter levels at times. So that was kind of funny. So the takeaways from this training, I hope you got, is that getting fully booked with an email once a week is super possible because it helps you stay consistent, whatever that means for you. And it's part of a very freaky, genius, simple strategy called the 4x1. Write to that one person who's a yes, the one who's ready to connect with a coach. one who gets her. We're not here with a weekly email trying to convince people that coaching is the end all and be all. We're here to show them how the results they're seeking are as awesome as they can imagine. And you are obsessed with getting your ideal clients to that point. And then understanding your human design is a game changer. It can really inform the rest of these puzzle pieces. So what your awareness of how you operate, it's attractive, you guys. You show up way more confident in a way that's sustainable for you. And it's a huge reason of why it works so beautifully with my core philosophy of removing the distractions that don't serve you so that you can operate at as your most genuine self. Okay, so 2 ways to work with me. Here comes the invitation time. So my signature private coaching program, it's 6 months. And regardless of how we work together, I'm going to introduce my new way in a sec. We always begin with getting clear on your niche statement. We get that out of the way. Not that it's super painful, but we make a decision. And now with human design, we lean on that to make this decision-making process for you a lot easier. But working with me once a week for 6 months, we look at your 4x1, we implement it, and we work. For the first 3 months, we own that statement. And then we review it at the halfway mark of our 6-month package, make some tweaks, and we move forward. And we're going to get you earning $2K to $5K a month, because this works to get you 2 new clients each month. And I want you charging at least $1,000 a coaching package. And that's what we create for you. And then a new way is my human design for your mom coaching biz intensive. So that is us getting on a phone on Zoom like this for 90 minutes. We look at your chart and we go really deep into your chart. We go into all the gates, all the channels, all the energy centers, and we look at your life purpose, everything. And then I'll give you homework to dive deeper into your ideal clients who you feel called to serve. And then we meet again for a second 90-minute where we come up with your 4x1 marketing strategy. And this also includes 30 days of Voxer support. So that's why it's like walkie-talkie time. And I'll answer any questions that come up for you in the month so that you can get into that consistency, that rhythm of showing up and connecting with your ideal clients. So the first step to get started is, if you want to work with me in the 6-month container, that is $5,000 with payment plans available, but reach out for a discovery call. So just hit reply to any of the emails you get from me and say, I want to book a discovery call, and I'll send you the link to choose a time to do that 45-minute call. And now in my discovery calls, by the way, there is an area optional to put in the time and location of your birth. And I'll take a little peek at your chart and I'll let you know, this is your authority. This is how you best make decisions to help you make the best decision moving forward of us working together or not. And then if you want to do the human design for your mom coaching biz intensive for $1,000, I am going to put a link. I'm going to say down below because the replay is going to have the link. Or hit reply and tell me you're interested in that too. And I'll send you to the link where you can purchase that spot. Once you pay the invoice for $1,000, you will get an email from me with a more exhaustive registration form. Again, getting the time and location of your birth and choosing a time for your first 90-minute session with me where we do the deep dive into your human design chart. And that'll be followed up a week later for your 4x1 strategy session. All right, I am going to stop share now and see if there are any questions. Anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, you can just type them into the chat box. Okay, don't be shy. If there's no questions, I'm going to sign off. Again, you could book that discovery call and you could ask me the questions in there. Otherwise, I'm really excited to offer this new way to work with me. I think it's really going to blow your mind. A great awareness and a great way to get a starting off point so that you could implement a plan that is really conducive to attracting your ideal clients for you. Okay, my loves, you're so welcome, Tracy. Happy Valentine's Day to you too, and to everyone else on here. It was much fun, and I hope you treat yourself today. Bye.